He was the most electrifying player the NBA had seen in a generation. A human highlight reel who came from nowhere, dunked on the entire league, and was being crowned the next face of basketball before he could legally rent a car. He had the talent, the money, the fame, the whole world in his hands. And then, on a live stream, in front of millions, he started throwing it all away. So, what actually happened to Ja Morant? Let's deep dive. This is Sports Deep Dive. To understand the fall, you have to understand just how high he climbed. Ja Morant was a barely recruited kid out of a tiny school, Murray State, that nobody was watching. But the talent was undeniable, and the Grizzlies took him second overall in 2019. He won Rookie of the Year almost immediately, and within a couple of seasons he had transformed Memphis into one of the most exciting teams in the entire league. By 2022, he was a full-blown superstar, back-to-back All-Star, an All-NBA selection, and the leader of a Grizzlies team that grabbed the number 2 seed in the West. He had a giant signature shoe, a giant contract worth around $200 million, and a giant reputation as the fearless young king the league was about to build its entire future around. He was, by every measure, on top of the world. Then, in March of 2023, it all started to unravel in the worst possible way. In the early hours of the morning, at a club in Denver, Ja Morant live-streamed himself on Instagram, intoxicated, waving around a handgun for the entire internet to see. The video exploded instantly. The league suspended him 8 games and sent him into a counseling program. To most people, it looked like a terrible, isolated mistake. A wake-up call he would surely learn from. But then the other stories started surfacing, and a pattern began to form. There were reports of an altercation with a teenager during a pickup game at his own home, confrontations involving members of his inner circle, including an incident with the Indiana Pacers organization. Suddenly, the gun video did not look like a one-time slip. It looked like the loudest symptom of a much bigger problem that had been building quietly for a while. And then came the moment that changed everything. Just 2 months after the first incident, while he was supposed to be reflecting and rebuilding his image, Ja Morant flashed a gun on Instagram Live again. Same player, same mistake, barely any time later. This was no longer a lapse in judgment. This was a man who, even with his entire career on the line, could not stop. The league dropped the hammer with a 25-game suspension, and the trust around him completely shattered. And just when it seemed like things could not get worse, his own body betrayed him. A shoulder injury required season-ending surgery. Then an elbow injury wiped out yet another year. The numbers tell a brutal story. Over a recent 3-season stretch, the player who was supposed to be the face of the league appeared in just 79 games total. The suspension stole his reputation, and the injury stole his prime. So is the Ja Morant story over? Here is the painful truth. This was not one giant catastrophe. It was a slow-motion squandering of one of the rarest talents the sport has ever produced, one bad decision at a time. He is still young, and the ability has not vanished. A redemption arc is absolutely still possible, but the window, the trust, and the body have all taken damage that may never fully heal. Ja Morant had everything. The only question left is whether he can ever get it back. So, what do you think? Is Ja Morant a redemption story waiting to happen, or a cautionary tale about wasting greatness? Could he still become the superstar he was supposed to be? Drop your honest take in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into the rises and falls that define sports.